Hi, welcome back. Let's solve the first question from today's weekly contest, that is distribute elements into two arrays first. This was an easy question. So in this question, you are simply given an integer array nums and its length is n. And what you have to do is you need to distribute all the elements of nums between two arrays, array 1 and array 2, using n number of operations. So you have to perform exactly n number of operations. Now, what is the operation, right? So the operation is basically, let's say you have performed some operation I, right? After that operation, you have to check the last element inside of array 1 and the last element of array 2. If the last element of array 1 happens to be greater than the last element of array 2, you have to append the current element you are on inside of the array inside of array 1. Okay. Otherwise, you have to append to array 2 if its last element is greater than the last element of array 1. Then what you have to do is, what you have to return in this question is the concatenation of these two arrays that you will form, right? Array 1 and array 2. So suppose your array 1 is, let's say, 1, 2, 3, array 2 is 4, 5, 6. So the result or the resultant array you have to return is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just the concatenation of both, right? So let's understand the question using the second test case, which was 5, 4, and 3, 8. Right, so this is the nums array given to you. Now, let's form array 1 and array 2. So it's common sense that we do not have any element here, right? So it's common sense to put some elements here first, right? So because you have to start performing the operation starting from the first element itself. So inside of array 1, as you don't have anything, you have to simply put the first element and then you have to make for array 2. Now you have made array 1 as well as array 2. Now you have to start performing operations. So until now, two operations have been performed, right? Now you have to perform the operation. So we have included these two elements. So we will start from this second index, right? So 3, right? We have to append in array 1 or array 2. Based on what? If array 1's last element is greater than array 2's last element, so you have to append the current value inside of array 1. So we can see that 5 is greater than 4. That means you have to append 5 into this array. Then move on to the next element and again check what is the last element of both the array. So it is 4 and in this case it's 3. So array 2's last element is greater, right? So you have to append 8 here. So after that you can see that we have performed a number of operations, which is 4 in this case, right? Then what you have to return is the resultant array, which is going to be the concatenation, which is 5, 3, 4, 8. Now the question is pretty easy, but one mistake that you can do or could have made was that you thought that you can divide the array into half, right? So that is not necessarily that is going to happen in this question. Your array 1 and array 2 are not going to contain n by 2 elements each, right? Let's say I have 6 here. Okay, if I have a 6 here, then what will happen? See, so you will not be having this 3, right? First we'll have again 5 and 4 inside of our array. Then check the last element, 5 is greater, correct? So current element is 6, append 6 here. Then check the last element, 6 and 4. So 6 is greater, right? So you'll append the next element 8, which is 8 here inside of array 1, correct? So you can now see that you will not necessarily divide the array into half while performing the operations, right? So that is one like possible mistake you could have committed, right? Otherwise, it was a pretty easy question. You have to do exactly as mentioned in the question. Declare an array 1 and array 2 and take the 0th element in array 1 and first element in array 2. Then simply iterate in the nums array starting from for I is equal to 2 up to the size of the array, which is n. Okay, and then simply take the simply check the last element of array 1 and array 2. If the last element of array 1 happens to be greater than array 2, take the current element and append it to array 1, right? So that's all that you have to do. And otherwise, if array 2's last element is greater, you have to append the current element inside of array 2. And then in the last, you have to simply print array 1 plus array 2, correct? So that is it. Now, if we see the time and space complexity for this, right, before we discuss the code, let's discuss the time and space. So time is going to be n only, big O of n, because you're only going to iterate in nums array, okay? And space complexity is also going to be big O of n as you are utilizing two arrays, okay? So, and in the worst case, both of their lengths can be, big O of n, right? Let's say you can you take all the elements as array 1 or array 2, etc. But still overall, the elements inside of array 1 plus array 2, they must be n, right? So space will be n. So now let us go ahead and discuss the code. See, first we declare two arrays, array 1 and array 2. Take the 0th element, push it in array 1. Take the first element, push it in array 2. Then iterate from I is equal to 2 up till n, right? The size of the array. Then you have to simply check array dot back will return you the last element of array 1. Then array 2 dot back will return you the last element of array 2. So if it is greater, right, you have to push inside of array 1. You have to append the current element in array 1. Otherwise, append it in array 2. Then here to save the space, instead of declaring another vector and putting the values of array 1 and array 2 there, I have simply taken this k, and I'm just making changes in nums because I don't have to use nums further, right? So I am starting, first I have to iterate in array 1 because I have to take all those elements and we have to put inside of the nums array. Then we have to take the array 2 and put the elements inside of the nums array and simply return nums. So this is basically what you have to do in this question.